Good morning, ladies, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is where you are at. Today, I'm going to bring you a quick little tutorial on the making a ring bearer's pillow. Sorry, I got sidetracked with the phone there dinging at me. My brain can only do one thing at a time. This I've been working on, but coincidentally, yesterday, May announced that she's putting the trims that I am using on this particular project in grab bags. So I wanted to hurry up and share this with you just to give you a little idea on what maybe you could do with some of those trims that are in those really amazingly priced grab bags, and they're very limited quantities. So without further ado, I have taken a piece of the burlap that May sells. And I will be putting links to all of the products that I've used down below, as well as the link to the grab bags, so that you can hurry up and get yours before they're gone. Because once they're gone, you won't be able to get any more, because these are discontinued. The burlap isn't, but the trims that I'm going to use are. So what I've done, this is about 13 1/4 inches. You could make it however big you wanted it to be. And I just folded it in half. So that's going to be actually the base of the pillow. Um, I know this is probably traditionally smaller than a ring bearer's pillow might be, but I wanted to do this kind of in a shabby boho fashion by using the burlap. And because this is so nicely stitched all the way around, I figured this would be a quick and easy project to do. So what I'm going to do is take my Surebonder glue gun, which May is also going to be carrying, and just put a bead of glue down the sides of this on two sides, because you've got the fold on one side, and you don't have to worry about any raw edges. See, a piece of the burlap came off, but once you glue this, it's going to keep it from fraying. And then I'm just going to add a dab of glue along what I'm calling the bottom. You want to leave one end open, for stuffing the pillow with a little bit of fiber fill. Because after all, it is pillow, so we have to have some fiber fill. And next, I'm just going to take some fiber fill, and I don't want mine too poofy, just a little cushion. You could, of course, make yours as poofy as you wanted to, um, just to give it the appearance of it being a pillow. And I also thought the size of this might work well in the hands of a little one, because their hands are so tiny. And I think that's good. So I'm just going to glue up the top to sew up my pillow. Now you could very easily, and watch this when you're doing it, ladies, because the glue is hot. And they do have those fancy little glue tools, which I have never gotten. I don't know why I haven't, but I think at this point my fingers are so used to that I don't even really feel it anymore. Plus, the Surebonder is not one of those old-fashioned super high temp glues that you would get a second-degree burn from. So there, it's all stitched up, and I'm just gonna, kind of smush the fiber fill around a little bit and get off some of these glue strings. So the next thing we're going to do is add the trim around the pillow. Now, this is what I was talking about when I said Shabby Boho, and this is one of the um, trims that is being discontinued and is in those grab bag kits. And I personally love this. I'm sad to see it go, but I have used quite a bit of this, and I absolutely love it. I just think it screams Shabby Boho. So, there is a right and a wrong side to this. Sorry. Um, You can figure it out when you're looking at it. So what I am going to do is just simply start gluing this trim right to the edge of the pillow. Just like that. Let me bring the camera in a little bit more so you can see a little bit better. There you go. Okay, now when you get to a corner, you're probably going to have to kind of make a little tuck right there, just so that the fringe lays flat. So just make your little tuck, put a little dab of glue right here, and then tuck it. And then just continue, hold it for a second so you make sure that it's all sealed in there. And then just continue around the next side of the pillow. Put a little dab of glue in there where you made that little tuck. Now I may have to put a little piece in here when I get to the other side, because like I said, I have used this on other projects, so I might come up a little bit short. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. I might get lucky. Okay, gonna do the same thing here. Just put a little tuck in there, a little dab of glue, hold it, continue up this side. Yep, I'm gonna have to piece it. That's okay. That is okay. Hopefully the piece I have left is long enough. I'm looking at it now and wondering. But you know what? I have something that I'm going to do to fix that. Because when you're crafting, you just never know what kind of situation you're going to run into. So again, tuck and hold right here. And then I'm just going to glue the little bit that I have remaining here. And this is actually a good thing to have happen because, you know, you might be in the middle of a project and think you have enough to finish it, only to find out you didn't quite measure. So you have to go to plan B. But I have a plan B, so we're going to go with that. I do have another small piece here. I just don't know if it's going to... I'm just trying to get the tape off that I put on the end to keep it from raveling. Tape's not cooperating, so I'll just cut it off. Okay. So, it's almost there. But what I'm going to do is my plan B, which was originally part of my idea to put a bow on here. We're just going to go with that, and it'll hide that little area that we might be lacking enough trim. So I'm going to glue that on there like that. And you can see I've got a little bit of an opening here. So just to kind of put the missing piece in the middle, I cut this in two. And I'm going to glue this other piece right here, so that when I put the bow on, you're not going to see any of that, I hope. Best laid plans of mice and men and crafters. Okay, so there we have, and as you can see, when you hold this up, you can like finger comb this. Your fringe hangs down the sides of the little pillow. I think that is so cute. Okay, now the next thing that I did, I cut out these little butterflies from, I am so backwards with this camera, from another piece of May's trim that she sells, this butterfly trim. And I did show this in, I think it was the blue jeans, the straight leg jeans that I took from straight leg to bell bottoms. And I showed a picture of the shirt that I was wearing where I had used the butterfly trim. I cut it out and, you know, attached the butterfly trim to give it just a little bit of different look. And if you run in when you get this done and you see little spots, where you think it needs to be glued down, just go back through with your glue gun and just dab it a little bit, like especially around the corners. Now, anyway, back to the butterflies. I'm going to glue a butterfly in each corner. Just a little bit of glue. You don't need a whole lot because these are mesh, so it's gonna seep through in the middle. And I do have something else that I've already made to go in the center of the pillow. Sorry, I got out of frame there. I'll glue the other one, the other butterfly, in the opposite corner. Now you could embellish this part with, you know, any way you wanted to. You could put appliques, and May's got some gorgeous appliques. If you didn't like this trim, May has another trim that would be equally as pretty. It's a fringe trim that you could put here instead of this fringe trim. Any trim. She's got some gorgeous new trims, just beautiful, that dangle, that would be gorgeous. You could make this out of satin. You make it out of anything. I just wanted to do a little kind of a shabby one. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my sari lace and make a bow. I'll have to cut this a little bit. And the sari lace, if you've ever worked with it, it does shed. It does fray, but that's part of what I like about it. I mean, not when there's huge big globs like this. It does stick to everything. Just cut those off. But I like the fray look with the shabby. It just kind of lends to the whole shabby chic thing. Sorry about my phone. It's very loud. Okay, get off. Well, I may have to go through this whole video with this stuff stuck to me. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just kind of, I'm going to fold this length in half. And let me see, how much do I have here? Just to give you a rough guesstimate. You can make it as big or short or as fat or as skinny as you want. You can use anything you want to make your bow with. I got about 39 inches. Well, no, it'd be 78 inches because I doubled it. So I just doubled it because I want this bow to be, you know, kind of fluffy. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of start winding, you know, going back and forth like this and making loops with the sari ribbon. So you want to have an even amount on both sides. So I'm going to try to do like 4 loops so that I have 2 on each side like that. Nope, that's 3. I need 1 more. I haven't had enough coffee evidently because I can't count this morning. Okay, now we have 4. As you can see, when you do it this way, you've got little tails that'll still hang out at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is just take my handy dandy glue gun and just add some glue in here. And don't worry, you're not going to see all this glued up stuff. And just sort of watch your fingers when you do this. If you have sensitive fingers, I would not recommend you do it this way. But like I said, mine are kind of used to it. And then, as you can see, once you get that done, you can puff these out. So I'm going to lay that right here. I'm going to take this part. Oops, I'm off camera. I'm going to take this part right here, put a little bit of glue, and add it right to that bare spot there on the pillow. And there you go. once you have that glued on there, oops, I need to glue it a little bit better. Didn't quite hold it long enough. Just hold it on there like I didn't do. Then you can fluff out your little bowie parts. And if you feel it's not strong enough, just keep adding dabs of glue until you get it the way that you like it. And just fuss with it. Now, it is a little gloppy looking if you separate it this way. So what I planned on doing is to add a little embellishment in the center. Now, I just got in yesterday. I had ordered one of these little embellishment kits from May, and this thing is just loaded. I mean loaded, and I just know that the perfect piece for this pillow is going to be in here. And in here you've got tons of buttons. You could use a button right there. There's another kind. And I really like that button. So I'm going to cease looking because I think that's just the perfect touch for this. But ladies, this is a value. I mean, this is chock full of little embellishments of all different kinds. There's buttons, there's metals, there's resin pieces. Incredible value. If you need to build up your embellishment stash, this is the way to do it. Okay, so I'm just going to take this button, shank it on, apply a generous amount of hot glue, and stick it right there in the center. That way, and you'll notice when you're working with the sari ribbon, if you do, you're going to find little seams. And when you run across one, just kind of snip off any unpleasant edges. And I'm just going to kind of angle the end of these ribbons just a bit, just to give it a little more finished look. Now, that's the basic pillow, all ready to go. Now, what I want to show you next is the piece that kind of inspired me to the rest of the pillow. Angela Holt made this video on a shabby bird's nest that I absolutely fell in love with. And she inspired me to try and make one. So I made my own little interpretation of a little bird's nest. Now this little bird's nest I'm going to set on the top of the pillow, and the rings are going to set in the center of this. Now I will put a link in the description box to Angela's video. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it because it's incredible. If your mind is anything like mine, it's going to take off and go, oh wow, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. But I thought, you know, this would be kind of cute. As you can see, I've used the same fringe that I used on the pillow on here. And I also added little bits of bling because it is for a wedding. And I figured birds like bling. They like shiny stuff, just like us women. We like shiny stuff. And then I just put some little flowers in the center just as a cushion. And on the back, it's really funky. I just used a piece of cardboard to glue this onto and added little bits and pieces. All of these pieces that I put on here basically have come from May's line. There's little pieces of lace in there. I think I put some, oops, I'm not even showing you, some little beads, and there's just all kinds of stuff, some little tiny pearls. So because these are lightweight and kind of feathery, you will see a lot of the stuff that's underneath there if it blows up. So what I'm going to do is take some hot glue. Now you could use E6000, you could use, as a matter of fact, I think I am going to use both Fabri-Tac and the hot glue on here. Even though Fabri-Tac glues pretty rapidly, I want to make sure that this is going to permanently adhere to the pillow. So I put the Fabri-Tac in the center, and then I'm just going to put a generous amount of hot glue around the center, or around the outside, the perimeter of it. And we're just going to glue the nest right in the center of the little pillow, like that. Now you could, at this point, if you wanted to, I had found some feathers that you could add onto the pillow, which I think I am going to do because I kind of like the way that looks. I don't know what kind of feathers these are, but May sells some absolutely gorgeous marabou feathers, which would be perfect on here. So I am just going to cut off one, and I'm going to be wearing feathers and glue strings all day. I'm just going to kind of glue that. Oh, I think right about there. I like feathers. And since we have a bird's nest, it only makes sense that we have some feathers. Just glue it right on there. And you can straighten out your fringe like that. And then I have another one that I think I will put on the opposite side. Let me turn it around so you can see what I'm doing. Just glue it right here. As you can see, this isn't fussy. I'm not taking a whole lot of time to, you know, mess with it. You could stick some feathers even into your bird's nest if you wanted to. So I have, am fortunate enough. Oh, here's the other thing I was going to show you. If you wanted to bling this up a little bit, let me bring this in a little bit closer so you can see better what I'm talking about. This is the rhinestone trim that May also carries at Creating with Details. If you wanted to, you could just add a little bit of this rhinestone trim, or you could add pearls, whatever you wanted to do. I wanted to keep it quite simple, but this is your design, this is your baby, so you can do it however you want to do it. And I think I'm going to add just a couple more pieces of flowers here because I like the way that's looking. It just gives it that little extra touch, and there wasn't quite enough to my liking. And I think the marabou feathers, these were just what I had laying around, and it was kind of like an afterthought. Oh, feathers! So I think the marabou feathers would be perfect for this. And I'm just sticking them here and there. So it just gives it that extra added fluff, like you would find in a bird's nest. I'll put another one over here so that the nest is sitting on a feather of pillow, or a pillow of feathers. I'll be all right, I promise. That's what I'm going to keep telling myself. Let's see, let's put another one here. And you only need a tiny bit of glue to put these in because you want them to have movement when you're doing this. After all, they are feathers. Okay, I think that's enough feathers. So let me get this out before I start sneezing. Now, I have my mother's wedding rings just to show you an example of what it would look like with rings in it. And I thought you could easily just lay the rings in the pillow like that. Of course, I just have mom's rings, so but I thought, you know what, little hands are going to be carrying this, so I thought, why don't I just take a piece of sari ribbon, and I may be making these too long, but I'd rather have it too long than too short. Cut 2 pieces of the sari ribbon and take one piece and glue it right here, like underneath some of this trim, underneath the flower. Just put a little dab of glue there, like that, and just kind of hold it. And do the same thing on the opposite side. Put another piece of sorry ribbon, or you could use any kind of ribbon. You could use lace trim, you could use cording, you could use whatever you wanted to do. The whole idea with this is to be able to make sure that the rings don't get dropped and fall out while they're being carried by the little guys. So I just put the two ends going the opposite way through the rings, and then you can just tie a little bow. And then straighten the rings up so that they show, and then just trim these off like that. And just kind of fuss with it until you get it fluffed out the way that you want it. Make sure the rings are showing, because these are very old and very tarnished and very special to me, but you know, the bride will have shiny new ones and the groom, so it's not wanting to cooperate, but you get the idea. So let me zoom back out. I will take a picture because a couple of pictures at the end so that you can see better what it would look like. But that's my idea for kind of a shabby boho wedding, and I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it inspired you to think outside the box a little bit. And I wanted to show you on the other side, it's just plain. You could cover this with satin, you could leave it as is, but it's just nice and you know, flat for little hands to carry it with nothing to slip on. That's the other thing I liked about the burlap, besides the fact that it's just kind of shabby, is that it's not slippery, so it's not going to fall out of little hands. So anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. It was short, but I wanted to give you a little idea of what you could do with those kits. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. And until next time, my friends, be kind to each other, supportive, and peace. Bye-bye.